Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to review the 2018 action movie The Hurricane Heist, a movie that has been on my watch list for weeks now and I just haven't had time to watch it yet. And this film is directed by Rob Cohen, who has directed many action movies over the years, including Fast and the Furious and Dragonheart. I think he did Dragonheart as well, so a very competent director here. And this film focuses on a group of naughty criminals that plan on robbing a bank. It's like notes that are going to be shredded because they don't want them in circulation anymore. They all get packed up and taken to this big vault, and this big vault has a stockpile of, I think it's something like $600 million that needs to be shredded, but the shredder's not been working for a while. That's a bit dodgy, isn't it? So these criminals turn up, take over the vault, and plan on robbing this $600 million that hasn't been shredded for a number of weeks. And throughout all this heist, there is a Category 5 storm taking place that is a storm to end all storms, apparently. So they've got to deal with that, the criminals, but also Maggie Grace, who works for this company that, shreds these notes and stuff. She's some kind of guard. She's at the last minute, because she doesn't like the fact that this storm's coming, she changes the code to the vault. And the criminals hadn't planned for that, so they can't get into the vault, and she's the only one that can get in. She's the only one that knows the code. And she manages to get out into the storm, and with the help of Toby Kebbell, who is one of these storm chaser guys. He's got his own tank vehicle and he goes around, taking measurements of storms, inside storms and things. With the help of him and his brother, Toby Kebbell's brother Breeze, they aim to try and take down the criminals in the midst of this huge storm that's taking place. So there you go. Now, I'm conscious that I'm probably going to give this film a little bit of a hard time. However, I do want to say straight off the bat, I had quite a lot of fun with this movie. It's a pretty well made, brainless action flick, the kind that you used to see in the 90s all the time, that you just put on, watch, take it out and forget about instantly, but have a good time watching it if you like. And so straight off the bat, there is some fun to be had with this movie, but by God, there's a lot of problems with it too. Number one is it's not wholly original. I mean, if you've ever seen the movie Hard Rain that Christian Slater made with Morgan Freeman and Randy Quaid in the 90s, this is almost a remake of that. And that wasn't a successful movie, Hard Rain, by any stretch of the imagination. So it's, even though there are differences, it's fairly carbon copy of that movie. Another thing about this movie that was jarring to me and kept taking me out of the movie is you have Toby Kebbell, who's in this movie, who's from Pontefract in Yorkshire, who actually is a very good actor. I did a classic film review for Dead Man's Shoes, and he's in Dead Man's Shoes, which is a British movie. I highly recommend you see it. But he's in this movie putting on a terrible American accent, and I mean terrible. Then you've got Ben Cross in this movie, legendary British actor, who's in this movie putting on a terrible American accent. And then you've got Ralph Ineson, who's from Leeds in West Yorkshire, who's in this movie putting on a terrible American accent. Now, from my research, this film was made in Bulgaria, I believe, even though it was funded by the United States. It was made in Bulgaria, from what I can tell, in the locations. But is it so bad that they have to get English actors putting on terrible American accents in movies like this? Because it really took me out of the movie. I'd be interested to know what you guys think as American audience members, what you thought of their performances. because they were pantomime performances for me, each of them. They just didn't work. Toby Kebbell, it did not work as an action lead. Simple as. Even though he does some decent things in the movies, and he's not bad in the movie in that sense, it didn't work. Did not work at all. The best thing about this movie, I thought, was Maggie Grace, who did work. She was very good. She played the female lead and she carried the movie, I thought, particularly well. You've got the brothers as well, Toby Kebbell, got Will and his brother Breeze, who's from Australia, who's doing a terrible American accent. They play brothers, and you think they're going to be like the integral part of the movie, because there's an opening scene where it shows them losing their father in a terrible hurricane many years earlier when they were boys. So you think, ooh, they're going to be a main part of this movie. They're not, right? Even though they are in it a decent amount, they're not an integral part of this movie, and I don't think they focused on that well enough, personally. The effects, for the most part, I thought were pretty impressive. There were a couple of CGI moments that looked like cutscenes from games that I thought were pretty bad. And it's dumbed down to hell, is this movie. Don't expect intelligent filmmaking here, because you ain't going to get it with this movie. Very generic in every sense of the word, this movie. Paint by numbers action movie with some impressive scenes, some impressive action set scenes. I thought they used the elements of the weather quite cleverly at times. There's a scene where Toby Kebbell's chucking these hubcaps into the storm to try and take out these bad guys. I thought that was quite inventive. There was another scene where they harness themselves to something and fly up into the storm to get rid of some other bad guys. I thought some of that stuff was quite creative. So I'm going to be fairly generous, and I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I don't necessarily 100% convinced it deserved it, but I clicked my brain off and had a bit of fun with this movie. And if you do the same, you may too. But be warned, guys, there's a lot of problems with this movie, and it's not going to speak to your intelligence in any way, shape or form. So there you go, the Hurricane Heist, guys. Might be worth a watch if you just want to click your brain off and watch something a bit of fun. So thanks for watching.